Hey, in this video, we're talking about how to get coaching clients, which really comes down to one main thing. I'm going to come out of the gate in this video and tell you exactly what that is, but stick around for the whole thing because I'm going to make a very bold promise about where you can be in about a year's time if you stick to the process.
In today's video, we're going to break down the best, the quickest, and the easiest way to get clients. But we're going to come at it from a foundational place. And let me know what takeaways you're getting as we go on here. So I'm all set. I've got iced coffee today, and I rarely have iced coffee. It's like once every 6 months or so. So we'll see what comes out when I'm fueled by iced coffee. All right, let's break this down. What are the best, quickest, and easiest ways to get coaching clients? I'm just going to give you the punchline right out of the gate and explain why. The best way to get coaching clients, the quickest way to get coaching clients, and the easiest way to get coaching clients is to actually be a damn good coach and give people an experience of your damn good coaching. I believe still to this day, or in this day, after everything, even more so after everything that we've experienced over the last couple of years, the best way to sell private coaching is through consultation calls, because that's the best way that people can actually experience your coaching. There's a movement, I think, in the coaching industry that appeals to our desire to automate things and create leverage and create more exposure and have a bunch of people coming in. And all of that is fine, but it cannot replace the quality of you as the coach, you as the leader, and your business that requires private coaching success. What I mean by that is you're going to be able to do all the things in your business that you want to do when you're a really good coach. Until you're a really good coach, you're not going to be able to do all that stuff. I'm telling you, because in almost 20 years of being in this industry, I've not seen a single person, not one person, build a successful business following what almost all of the programs are teaching. Because what almost all the programs are teaching is shortcut. It's fantasy. It's fad. It's overcompensation. So before I get into that, because that could be a gigantic soapbox for me, I want to break down these three terms that I use: the best, the quickest, and the easiest. It's the best way to get coaches, being a good coach and doing consultation calls, because you're going to give people quality experiences. And when people have quality experiences where they actually get something of value out of the call, it's going to lead them to make quality decisions. What that's going to mean is they're not going to ask for refunds as much, because they're choosing intentionally based on a quality experience, which means their commitment is going to be better, which means they will likely commit financially and energetically to deeper coaching or longer coaching or just better coaching that's a better fit for them, which means better clients for you, which means better experiences for you, which then creates a cycle where everything is better. Everything is higher quality and it feeds itself. So you're going to build a better business when you're a better coach, giving better experiences, leading to better clients. Don't half-ass this thing. It's disrespectful to people, and you're going to build a house of cards. And I'm only telling you that from 18 years of solid experience and success. You know, truthfully and honestly, I don't do a very good job of letting people know like what I've done in this industry, because I don't like that being the thing. But you also need to know we've built a business that has generated millions and millions and millions of dollars. So this is not coming to you from theory. This is coming to you from looking back, going, what has worked? And for me and my business, and what has worked for a lot of our clients. And we have plenty of clients now that are booked solid as coaches. Like, they don't even have space on their calendar. If people had money to pay, they couldn't do it because they just don't have the space. So that's where all of these philosophies are coming from. The second word I use is quickest. Don't fall for the surface level being the fastest way to make six figures or to make $10,000 in a weekend. Underneath the surface is a lot of foundation all of the time. And so when you fall for the quickest way to six figures or the quickest way to make $20,000 or the quickest way to high ticket, what you'll find is you can only do the quick stuff at the top if you've done all of the stuff below. And almost nobody has done all of that stuff below. So I'm not saying that what those programs are promising is necessarily false, but it's just not aligned for almost anybody because you're not prepared for it. You're not ready to do the things that most other people have spent years getting prepared to do. But we just fall for what sounds like it's really easy. What truly is the quickest way to make money as a coach is getting one-on-one coaching clients. You don't need websites. You don't need sales pages. You don't need a bunch of marketing. Many of you know Michelle. She doesn't have any of that stuff, but she's a fully booked coach with some pretty high ticket prices because she worked her way up to that point. We've got a lot of coaches that have done that exact same thing. The quickest way to actually get a client is to have a conversation and just ask them if they want more help, because they can say yes after the consultation. So you might be on the phone for 45 minutes, an hour with somebody and have a client. How long is it going to take for you to build a website, for you to put a sales page up there, for you to get people on the website? How long is it going to take for them to consume all of that stuff when they're being bombarded constantly with all the marketing out there? So the quickest way is actually the way that most people, in my experience, what I see, are avoiding. But it's the quickest way to get a human being to say yes and actually pay you money. The third thing I said is it's the easiest way. That's more energetic. If you're still listening to me 8 minutes in, that means you're likely not a hardcore salesperson. You're likely a teacher. You're more likely somebody who doesn't identify as being somebody who just wants to get money out of people's wallets. So if you really, truly are more driven by just helping people, that's a good thing, but it's also a challenge. It's a challenge because we resist sales. It doesn't feel good to us. It's not what we're all about. But all of the sales training out there, or the majority of the sales training out there, doesn't feel aligned for those of us that just want to help people. You're more of a teacher than a salesperson. When you are a good coach and you give people quality experiences, it's actually much easier for you to sell, because what you're doing is you're just making an invitation to more. You're not selling expectations to people that will require a lot of those sales tactics. You're just saying, this is what I have for you. You've just experienced what I got. Do you want more? It's so much easier. I just got goosebumps all over my body saying that. It's so much easier for you, which means it's going to be more aligned for you energetically, which means they will feel more aligned. Your prospects will feel more aligned because you are more aligned. When you're more aligned and they feel more comfortable, now we've got a much simpler decision that doesn't require all the sales tactics and overcoming objections and all this other stuff that people are trying to get good at. You don't even need any of that if you just give people high quality experiences and then offer them more. So in my experience, doing one-on-one consultations and creating content for people that they can consume, whether you deliver it in an email, you deliver it on your videos on YouTube, or you put it in podcast episodes, or you write articles, however you're going to create your content, giving people high quality content and then inviting them into more intimate experiences with you, ideally one-on-one consultations. That's the best, it's the quickest, and it's the easiest way for you to get clients. And you don't have all the expenses. You don't have all the time. You don't need all of this other stuff that most people don't recognize that they actually need if they're going to implement all the strategies that sound easy. that sound really fast. Now, this is extremely important for you to understand, because if you want to be a coach, you need to understand two main things that I think a lot of people don't understand. You need to understand this industry, the roots, the guts, the energy of this coaching industry. And you also need to understand, even more than that, the people who are potentially going to say yes to life coaching or business coaching, or however you're going to position help. What's the mindset of somebody who's going to say yes to somebody else who's potentially going to help them in their life? If you don't understand those people, you cannot succeed. You will not succeed, because coaching is a people-to-people process. It's a relationship. They are not commodities, and you are not a commodity. So don't treat them like a commodity, and don't treat yourself like a commodity with the training that you get, because a lot of the training in this industry is commoditized training. If the training says done for you, that's a commodity. How can something be done for you without you? How can something already be pre-prepared before it met you and be the best thing for you? How is that even possible? How can something be turnkey? How can something be simple? Follow these steps and you will succeed. How can I build a recipe for you before I've met you and have it be the right recipe for you, unless you don't mean shit in the entire recipe? Because if it's good enough for you, and it's good enough for somebody else, and it's good enough for somebody else, and it's going to work for anybody out there, guaranteed, then how important is the individual ingredient out there that the recipe is being sold to? You cannot be an important ingredient if your ingredient wasn't created in the recipe. It wasn't even present in the creation of the recipe. Then how important must the ingredient be? Too many of the programs that are teaching coaches how to succeed aren't taking into account the individual person. Not only the individual person as the coach, but then the individual people that individual person is going to help. This industry has become commoditized, and it's one of the reasons why we fall for things that sound so good, because they appeal to our fantasy desires. But they do no good for us because we're not involved. Like, we're not even present. If you want to sell commodities, then follow those plans. If you want to be a commodity that doesn't matter in the recipe, and you want to sell commodities that don't matter for the people that you want to sell to, then don't listen to anything that I say. But if you want a fulfilling business that matters to you, and if you want to be able to truly change lives that will matter to them, there is no such thing as a done for you recipe. But the industry has become this race to the bottom of how quickly can we sell shortcuts to people who really want shortcuts. I mean, just think about it. If you're in the coaching industry, what do most of the ads say? What do most of the marketing campaigns and messages geared toward? Most of them are geared toward how quickly you can get clients. How many ads? And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, shit, the video is titled Getting Clients. So there's nothing wrong with that. As a business owner, getting clients is a piece of, I mean, it's a major piece of success. So there's nothing wrong with making money, wanting to make money, wanting to get clients. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not the whole game, especially if it's not built upon quality. So if you take a look at what is in the industry primarily, it's a race to money. How quickly can we teach you how how to make money. So if you look at ads and you look at marketing and you look at the videos and you look at most of the messages out there, the majority of them will be about how to get clients and how to make money. Very, very rarely are you going to see ads about how to get good or how to actually change people's lives. So what that means is we're making a detour. We're taking a shortcut. We're trying to jump over the quality and just try to get to the money. And the worst thing that could happen to you as a coach is that strategy works. That's actually the worst thing that could happen, is if that strategy that jumps over quality actually works. Because the train wreck that will happen when that strategy, quote unquote, works financially, that train wreck will be more disastrous than if it doesn't work out of the gate and you just learn that you have to get good first. And then build your business around quality, build your business around your distinctions, build your business around your certainty. You cannot have certainty as a coach without being a good coach. And so what so many of these programs are teaching, and by the way, I'm not like angry at the people. I'm not trying to throw people under the bus. I'm not trying to judge what's out there, because it's a supply and demand, right? But when we fall for the shortcut programs, or when we buy them and when we try to implement them, it doesn't work for the people. So this is not a philosophical soapbox here. This is what works and what doesn't work and why they don't work. Because if you want to build a quality business based on certainty and confidence, you can't overcompensate for your insecurity. But the majority of the programs that are being sold because people want them are overcompensation. The reason that we want the done for you programs is because we have insecurity and we don't want to fail. So the idea that something is already done for us at an unconscious level takes away the risk of failing. That's why we want those. But those are guaranteed to fail. So like we're choosing the thing that's guaranteed to fail because we don't want to fail. I get it. It's supply and demand. Because we want the success and we want it without the risk, that's what's being sold. And that's what we continue to buy. And that's why more and more and more of those programs are out there. And there's no industry standard in the coaching world. So you can sell whatever people are going to buy and nobody's going to come shut anybody down. And that's a really important piece that we'll get into in future videos. The problems that arise when there are no industry standards because there's no consensus. So the majority of people that come into the coaching industry that just want to help people, they don't know what road to take to get good, which is unique. You know, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a teacher, you want to be some other profession, nobody's arguing over how to get certified or what you need to do to pass the bar exam. There are no arguments over the path that you need to take to get qualified to be successful in those industries. Nobody's arguing because there's consensus. There's actually legal consensus. And if you don't follow that path, you can't be a lawyer. You can't be a doctor. But there is no consensus here, which creates this unique confusion. And I believe most coaches never move beyond the commitment because there's no consensus, the commitment to how am I going to actually get good? And the reason I like to break all this stuff down, first of all, the way my mind works. Like, why is this happening? Why do people do this? And why is this? And why do I struggle? And I'm constantly trying to figure myself out. But I always want to teach to understanding. I don't want to teach to regurgitation. I don't want to teach you something that you could then write on your notes and create a meme about and then create an affirmation of and just only understand it at a surface level intensity, or surface level depth, because then you won't be able to apply. You won't be able to adjust. The only way that you'll be able to adjust, the only way that you'll be able to control something is if you understand it. And if you're in this world where you want to help humans, you have to be able to deal with change, because the humans are constantly changing. And one of the worst things you can do is try to find static rules to apply to humanity. Like, do the same thing all the time when humans are always changing. You have to understand fundamental concepts to be able to serve an ever-changing society with ever-changing humans. And that doesn't work with done-for-you programs. There's no such thing as that. Because if it's already done for you, how is it changing? How is it flexible? How are the turnkey approaches going to match when a pandemic hits? How are the turnkey, step-by-step, follow-the-leader approaches going to adapt when the humans don't trust the internet anymore or social media anymore? So you have to understand concepts if you want to have the certainty that the people need, that you're actually trying to help. Now, here's the good news. The good news is, in today's world, in today's industry, the best way for you to stand out is to be really, really good and have certainty in your voice, have certainty in your messages. That's the great news. You can stand out by being really good. The quote unquote bad news is that doesn't appeal to the fad fuel in our brains that just want it to be super fast. How can I just get to clients right away? That's the quote unquote bad news. I put it in quotes because if you chase that shortcut, I need it now path, you'll get it never. I need it now will lead to I'll get it never. But when you understand that this is a fundamental process and you're willing to lay the foundation, you will actually have success much faster than the shortcut, speedy approaches. I promise you that, just based on experience, right? So the great news on top of all of that is to become a master level coach and really fully understand human behavior is not rocket science. It's not becoming a brain surgeon. You actually don't have to have any advanced academic learning capabilities or anything you've already done, because learning about human behavior is actually an exercise of simplicity. And there's nobody that can't learn about human behavior. This is not highly complicated or academic kind of learning. It just takes determination. If you are determined and if you stick around, you can become, here's a bold promise that I'll make you. If you are determined and you're willing to stick around, you can become a life-changing coach inside of a year. How do I know that? Because we produce those all the time. We've created a scientific and artistic approach that produces life-changing coaches with the kind of certainty that's necessary in today's world. Now, you might say a year, I don't have a year to make money. Well, you don't have to wait for a year to actually make money, because you can get clients with your certainty as it continues to rise. Because when you're on the path of mastery level learning, you actually cross the line of where most people get very quick. You cross that line and then you can become distinct really quick. And for those of you that don't want to wait a year, do something else. If committing a year to your learning isn't worth it to you, I really hope nobody hires you. I'm just going to leave it at that. Not because I want you to fail, but I want them to win. I want the humans who we are here to serve, I want them to win. I want them to be healed. I want them to fall back in love with themselves. I want them to get what's possible in their life. And that requires a mastery level understanding and certainty and facilitation and capacity to do that, to provide that. And if you are committed to mastery, the road to mastery crosses the line of success. But the shortcut to success never even approaches mastery.
Now, if you like this video, check out that video right there. We're going to give you 10 coaching techniques to deliver more impact for your clients. IR systems. That means internal representational systems. This is how we consume the world. And you've probably heard of visual